The flag is in the corner. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Andre, Air Gordon, Mrs. Ingersoll, Mrs. Costock, Mrs. Reckles, Mr. Scarrow, Mrs. Vaughn.
My name is Dennis Karlowski. I reside at 5531 Amos Road, Elkhorn. After receiving your annual report in the mail last week, I was a little bit concerned about our cost per pupil compared to Fort Atkinson, Lake Geneva, and Delavan. Now, on your annual meeting, it shows some different things, so hopefully you can make some clarifications to me. Based on what you had reported, Fort Atkinson students were costing them about $17,000 per student. Lake Geneva, $16,500, Delavan, $16,000, and then Elkhorn at about $13,000 per student. So my question is this: what are our students not getting compared to these other schools? Or what are those other schools getting that we are not? I think you're doing a great job with the money, but I sure hope Elkhorn's getting the same teaching and education that those are. And I think we are, but I'm not 100% because I saw that you stated there we're in the upper 60% scholastically. Did I read that right? Where do we compare to Fort Atkinson, Lake Geneva, and Delavan? That was one. And then the last thing that I'd like to know is I'm a district head supervisor for Walworth County. So I get all the complaints and all the yays and hurrahs, as our school board members do also. But a question was brought to me, a concern about teachers' salaries. And you may not want to talk about this now, but I think it's something that should be addressed at some time, whether male and female teachers get paid the same based upon their education and, for lack of better terms, tenure. Is there an equalization? Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, I can answer questions because it's not leading to any board action. In regards to the spending per pupil, that's what I had referenced. What is in the annual report is accurate. That's our total revenues divided by the total head count of students. It's a great question. You know, what are our kids missing if we spend so less? I think, you know, how do we spend so less and still provide those opportunities? To be frank, Overall, we operate on a less staff to student ratio than any of the other districts in the area. That means they have more staff, they would have more aides, more support teachers, more positions like that. Their classroom sizes may be slightly lower than ours. Some of our classroom sizes, especially with the elimination of 7 elementary positions, 4 teacher positions at the elementary. The high school also had some attrition from teaching positions. Our administrative staff ratio is low, comparatively speaking. So from that standpoint, that's where our budget is lower. From an access and opportunity standpoint, we take a lot of pride in that we offer many opportunities, and in fact, many more opportunities than many of the other districts in our area. I think that's borne out by the fact that we have 25% of our students choose to drive, transport, come to Elkhorn Area School District to take advantage of those opportunities. One of the ways we are able to have a lower expense ratio than some of the other districts, our Career and College Academy Charter School operates in a much higher student to staff ratio than even the traditional buildings. So our average per pupil cost at the Career and College Academy is just around $7,000 compared to in the traditional brick and mortar building setting, that's closer to 12,000. At the Options Virtual School, which makes up around 280, close to 300 students, that operational cost is also under $7,000 per pupil. So both of those schools were actually receiving more revenue than what it costs to operate and educate those students in those different modalities. And we're able to then utilize that revenue to help subsidize our more traditional education structure that we have. As far as academics, how we compare, we're consistently in the U.S. News and World Report top 60, top 70 school districts in the entire state. There's over 425 high schools that are rated in that. Our elementary schools, all 3 of our elementary schools are also recognized and ranked in the top 25% of all elementary schools in the state. Academically, we're at the very top in all of southeastern Wisconsin, which includes Rock, Kenosha, Walworth, and Racine County. We have the #1 most transcripted credits and professional credentials earned by high school students in the entire state of Wisconsin. Irregardless, that's not on a ratio basis. That's just total college courses completed, total professional industrial certifications completed. We're #1 in the entire state, and something that we take a lot of pride in because our goal is to send students out with what we refer to as stackable credentials or an actual resume where they can go to right in the career workforce if they want, go to a technical college, go to the military, armed forces, or go onto a 4-year college. So academically, we're able to pull that off. We have a lot of wonderful staff that provide those opportunities and help further that. As far as the compensation schedule, we have a compensation schedule that is the same for male or female. So if there's somebody that's out there that feels like their pay differential is that from someone else within their same department, they should probably reach out to human resources so we can review that. But there's absolutely never a pay differential because someone's a male or a female, vice versa, getting paid more or less. It is based off of years of experience and their credentials, their license area. There are certain departments where they may be accelerated on that salary structure because of the hard to fill positions or the shortage in those areas. In particular, the CTE department in those fields may have some differentials there. But otherwise, if it's 2 elementary teachers, male or female, they have the same background, years of experience, then their compensation should be the same on the salary schedule. What I will say is that we do award for years of service prior to the Elkhorn Area School District. So you might have a teacher who thinks, well, I've been in Elkhorn 5 years, they've been in Elkhorn 5 years, and maybe they don't realize that that individual taught 6 years somewhere else, and so that placed them higher on the pay schedule because we do recognize those years of service. But I think those were, was there a question I missed, Dennis, on that? Okay, thank you.
Good evening. I'm Catherine Katie Robertson, and I am a proud parent of a soon-to-be fourth grader within the Elkhorn Area School District. And we were a family that open enrolled out initially, and I am very proud to say that we came back, and we are very, very glad we did come back. Professionally, I was a previous school administrator, and I currently work for the Department of Public Instruction. So I have the honor to be able to see schools all across the state of Wisconsin, and every day I'm reminded of the wonderful things that are happening here at Elkhorn. And people don't say the good things enough. So I wanted to be able to come tonight and say that I'm very appreciative of everything that happens in this district. And I'm very glad that we brought my child back to the district. So thank you.
All right. And then the minutes. Okay. All right. Mr. Andre? That's right. See, I knew you'd vote yes. Air Gordon, Mrs. Ingersoll, Mrs. Costock, Mrs. Reckless, Mr. Scarrow, Mrs. Vaughn. Let's see, Mrs. Bosch or Mr. Trier, or either of you?
Yeah, I'm here, Jason.
Okay, I don't know if you can hear Chris well enough with the way the speakers are set up. I can go ahead and speak to it, and then I can hear Chris fine if there's any questions. This is an annual certification that we provide. It's similar to our curriculum standards that the board approved at the last meeting. This is our academic and career plan and the overall framework of that education for employment. I spoke a little bit about it in answering Ms. Grabowski's question. And it just gives an overview of all the things that we do, the different grade spans. We start in that academic and career planning down in kindergarten through 5th grade with activities. It's a very purposeful, well-designed plan from our school counselors in cooperation with administrators, our school teachers, and our CTE teachers, and our business partners throughout the school district, not just the school district, but we've also reached out to the entire region in the county. I know Mr. Trottier is actively involved in the Milwaukee 7 and other area groups to make sure that our students have employment and or work study opportunities throughout the entire region. Any questions specifically related to the framework? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great question. And Sarah Bosch, are you on? Can you speak to that?
I am, but I cannot hear anything that the board members are saying, only what you can, what do you say?
So the question that was asked was the middle school schedule change as a result of the failed referendum and going to the 5-hour day. The question was, is this plan still in alignment with that, or do we need to make an adjustment? And I believe an adjustment needs to be made at this point because not all 6th graders have access to the same course electives that they had previously. And the plan outlines robotics, agriculture science. What was the other one? Yeah, ag, business, robotics, IT, and tech. And we know there are schedule conflicts because they have a reduced number of electives, especially if they are in band and choir in that year, they don't have access to the same number of courses. They get some of those, but not all of those. So we'll need to modify the plan to reflect that. Is
Okay.
that Sarah?
Yep. But just so that everyone is aware, as far as the academic and career planning goes, we did make adjustments to the schedule to ensure that all students have access to that academic and career planning, regardless of schedule.
She said that they did make adjustments to their schedule so that all students have access to the academic and career planning portions of the program, regardless of their schedules. Mm-hmm. Yes. I don't know the percentage, but I think 30 to 50% of boys still want to be NFL players in age grade 3. But in all seriousness, what we do, it's just giving exposure and awareness to what's out there. But our curriculum, our Project Lead the Way curriculum, which is really rich as well, has embedded with that, within that project solving, gets exposure to it, where the kids may not even realize that they're getting that exposure. But it really is about, we're agnostic as to what they want to be, but we want to make sure the kids have the skills that they can accomplish whatever it is that they want. And that, whether that's the performing arts, the athletics, I would never belittle anyone's dream or desire to what to pursue, but our focus is, do they have an awareness of what's out there, and do they have the support needed to get the access and opportunity? Great question. Oh. Yeah, so counselors at the high school are assigned by last name. We had one counselor who was dedicated to freshman level, and then the other counselors divided the names. So they all had the same counselor incoming as a freshman, and they had a counselor assigned by their last name. The team, met, they decided, looking at the format and how does that work. Originally, that counselor who was assigned to 9th grade had come from the middle school and had a stronger familiarity with the students that were at the middle school. She had been with us now to where she didn't have any of the incoming middle school. And the counselors and the team felt that it was better rounded for all of them to be able to work with the students starting a year earlier, so they could help them get into that desired educational pathway and those aspirations, rather than waiting until their sophomore year to learn what they're wanting. So that's why the high school did do that minor shift, that there's no longer a grade level counselor for 9th grade only. It's all by last name. It was just the 9th grade. Yeah. Right. And options has grown so much. We originally set it up so that it could have that kitchen service area. They're now using the kitchen as an art room. And the equipment has not been used, and it just continues to depreciate each year. We looked at and had our food service director check to see would it work to swap out at any of the sites, and just either the size or the rewiring or whatever, and the equipment is solid in the other locations. So the decision was to sell this. This will go into the Fund 50 food service budget.